Coming up tonight on YCN News, a massive motor vehicle pileup on I-93. Fire safety tips for this winter. And Vermont lawmakers want to pass a bill requiring paid sick days for business employees. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth-Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Friday edition of YCN News. I'm Laura James. Well, the second day of the new year got off to a bad start for dozens of motorists on I-93 and I-89 who got caught in a sudden burst of bad weather. With multiple accidents today on Interstates 93 and 89, a suspected cause, according to state police, resulted from snow squalls in the region. Now, some folks have described it as a wall of snow, that blinding quick appearance that contributes to a severe lack of visibility. So what is the actual definition of a snow squall? Well, the National Weather Service defines it as an intense but limited duration period of moderate to heavy snowfall accompanied by strong gusty surface winds and possibly lightning, generally moderate to heavy snow showers too. Snow accumulation may be significant, so on the roadways, that combined with a combination of rapid snowfall and rapid change of visibility has a significant impact on driving conditions, especially when the sun is out and roadways start out dry. But that sudden appearance of a squall changes the driving landscape. In fact, the Ashland, New Hampshire today, that area reported 2.5 inches of snow in 1 hour. All of this ahead of another system to move through our region tomorrow. So slow speeds and extra time is always a good idea on winter roadways. While snow squalls can catch any driver off guard, people whose love for the outdoors and takes them to the mountains need to be prepared for any similar rapid weather change. That's why it's important to buy a Hike Safe card. New Hampshire Fish and Game officials are urging the public to do just that. The state and U.S. Forest Service can spend upwards of $260,000 to rescue hikers and mountain climbers who are not prepared for all possible weather conditions. Now, the card purchase is voluntary and will reduce those overall costs, and a person with a Hike Safe card who does need help while on a hike may not be charged for the rescue cost. Go online to hikesafe.com to learn more. In a related story, two hikers unprepared for winter weather conditions while hiking on Mount Garfield in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, were rescued Tuesday by state fish and game conservation officers. At 4 p.m. that afternoon, the hikers called 911 from their cell phone to report that they were unsure of their location and didn't have equipment that would assist them to travel after dark or spend the night. The two hikers had left from Lafayette Place trailhead in an effort to hike the Falling Waters Bridle Path Loop. Now, once on the summit, the pair encountered strong winds. They mistakenly took the Garfield Ridge Trail from the summit. Once they realized they would not make it out, by dark they called for help. Conservation officers were able to direct the hikers to continue on the Garfield Trail, where officers could then assist the hikers down. Conservation officers were able to travel several miles by snow machine before they encountered water crossings that were not frozen, forcing them to travel the rest of the way on foot. At 7:20 p.m., conservation officers located the pair and safely relayed them to the trailhead. The two hikers were identified as Tyler Walsh and Michael Granger, both 19 and both from Saco, Maine. Though it seemed like varying conditions that had been occurring in many parts of the state at the onset, up in the White Mountains and higher elevations, they've had winter conditions for some time now. The trails are covered in snow and ice and temperatures remain low. At this time, however, streams and rivers are not totally frozen, which can make for treacherous crossings that are not advisable. So due to those quickly changing conditions, Fish and Game Department officials cannot express strongly enough how important it is to pack for winter conditions and always be prepared for the worst. The circumstances which led to Tuesday's rescue occurred because two people ventured out unprepared. That case is being evaluated to determine if reimbursement for the search will be requested. This is just one of several recent rescues necessary due to unprepared hikers. Getting through the winter season also means many people light the fireplaces or wood stoves in their homes. That glowing warmth may be comfortable, yet precautions must be taken. New Hampshire Fire Marshal Bill Degnan says fire safety needs to be among our New Year resolutions. Here in New Hampshire for all of 2014, that must be the case. Degnan says 25 people died from fire and effects of it, and 5 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning. There are some things that can be done to protect ourselves and our families. These include having working fire detectors with batteries installed, smoke and carbon monoxide alarms on each level of the home and several locations within an apartment. Also, have a planned escape route, and although it might cost more, Degnan says if you're considering building a new home or renovating an existing home, resolve to tell your contractor that you want residential fire sprinklers installed. Sprinklers are the most effective way of protecting your family from fire because they'll allow you the time you need to escape. Sprinklers are like having a firefighter with a hose line on duty in your home 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Also, though they might look pretty on a table, never leave a lit candle unattended. This includes leaving an item cooking on the stove unattended as well. Changes in the way homes are constructed, according to Degnan, also play a role. Homes are being built with larger open living areas and are being made with more combustible materials. This includes the combustible and plastic items that fill our homes, like children's toys, furniture, and clothing. Reminds Degnan, remember that fire safety is everyone's fight, and it is a battle which we can win individually and together. Next on YCN News, Vermont lawmakers want to pass a bill requiring paid sick days for business employees.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Laura James. Well, winter can be a time of renewal and a time of discovering the beauty of outdoors. Now, a workshop designed for women who want to learn outdoor skills will be held on Saturday, Valentine's Day, February 14th. Becoming an Outdoors Woman remains a popular class offered by the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department. This one-day class will be held at the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department's Owl Brook Hunter Education Center, that's in Holderness. A fee of $55 covers the workshop, lunch, and most equipment that's used. New this year, a discounted registration fee of $25 applies to participants ages 18 to 25. You must be at least 18 years of age to take part in BOW programs. Winter bow participants choose a single outdoor activity to explore during the day-long workshop. 5 different options are being offered. Women can learn how to ice fish, explore winter outdoor survival skills, track wildlife on snowshoes, try snowmobiling. Now that class is for beginners only. Or you can experience the popular Shoe and Shoot class involving woodland target shooting while on snowshoes. A brochure and registration forms are now available at www.nhbow.com. If you're interested in attending the workshop, you can send your registration form and fee in soon. Only forms that are mailed in will be accepted, no walk-ins. Now a New Hampshire connection to a story originally reported in the journal Nature back in early December. A Dartmouth College assistant professor was part of a team that found out some significant information about the effect young stars have on the growth of a galaxy. New Hampshire's union leader says that Ryan Hickox of Dartmouth College was one of the authors of a study that show a powerful stellar wind from massive young stars are blasting star-forming gas out of a distant galaxy. So what does this mean? Well, Hickox stated that while scientists knew this happened on a small scale, like we've seen in our own Milky Way galaxy, they just didn't know that this wind was capable of blowing the gas almost completely out of a galaxy. Hickox added, this is important because the molecular gas being driven out of the galaxy will probably shut down the star formation process relatively quickly in a few tens or hundreds of millions of years or so, which, just in case you didn't know, is a short time for the lifespan of a galaxy. Well, Vermont lawmakers may again consider a bill that would mandate businesses pay sick time if an employee needs to stay home due to illness. The Associated Press reports the proposed legislation would consider the effects on coworkers and customers who work with or are served by an ill employee. As the legislative season begins this month in Vermont and New Hampshire, YCN News will follow developments of bills proposed and defeated. Will there be a break in the near 3-month-old strike that has kept Fairpoint workers off the job while the two unions representing them continue talks with management? Well, that may happen soon, according to the Associated Press. A negotiating session is scheduled for Sunday in Washington, D.C. The meeting will take place at the request of a federal mediator, Allison Beck. Members of Fairpoint management and the union representatives met in Boston on November 18th. The talks in Boston ended with no further momentum. About 1,700 workers are on strike in the 3 northern New England states. One issue concerns retirement pay, the other, medical bills. Earlier, Fairpoint replaced employee pension plans with 401ks and contributions from workers to their health insurance plans. When YCN News returns, we'll join River Valley Chronicles' Elizabeth DeRazio, who spoke with Raylene Robinson of Muskoma Savings Bank.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Laura James. Let's find out how the forecast is looking for the first weekend of our new year.
Thanks, Laura. Tonight should be mostly clear with a low around 8 degrees. Saturday we will have a 30% chance of snow after 5 p.m., then increasing clouds with a high near 26. Saturday night expect snow and sleet before 4 a.m., then freezing rain and sleet. Lows will be around 23. Sunday we may have rain or freezing rain before 2 p.m., then a chance of drizzle between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. Highs will reach 43 degrees. Sunday night will be mostly cloudy with a low around 25.
Snow Country Snapshot is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill in Newbury, New Hampshire.
Happy New Year, everybody. This week, the Snow Country Snapshot is here at Windham Mountain in the Catskills, just 20 minutes off the highway. And speaking of accessibility, East Peak meets West Peak in the Wilderness Bowl. This is where the magic happens. There's a brand new trail called Wolf's Prey. It's a blue square, and it's something you've definitely got to check out.
A long-lasting, very cold, non-stop snowmaking stretch is just what the doctor ordered. Not only that, we could have some fresh powder on the slopes this weekend. Keep an eye on that weather. Ragged Mountain has a demo day on Saturday night in front of the main lodge. It's never too late to try out this year's newest and best equipment, while Whaleback's been making snow like crazy, and it looks like this will be their first weekend.
Here at Windham, every trail begins with the letter W.
Oh, wow.
Name some of the trails.
What's next? Wipeout. I don't know. Whatever.
Wipeout, Windham. Why not?
Whoa. That's my favorite trail here.
Suicide 6 is the place to ski in Vermont this Saturday for the Mountain Dew Vertical Challenge. It's a free, easy race for anybody with a lift ticket. Youth Pay Their Age Day is this Sunday at Mount Snow. And don't forget, January is Learn to Ski and Snowboard Month, which means first-timers can get wicked good deals. Check out snowcountry.com for more information.
So I've got one more Windham W word for you. Warm. Head over to snowcountry.com for more weather and conditions. I'm Hallie O'Brien, and we'll see you next week.
And now let's take a look at our community calendar. On Saturday, Brattleboro will hold its Winter Farmers Market at the Robert H. Gibson River Garden starting at 10 a.m. At 5 p.m. in Winchester, the United Church of Winchester will be hosting a bean supper. On Sunday, check out the Windsor, Vermont Farmers Market at the Welcome Center starting at 11:30 a.m. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. The holiday season brings the annual Philip Boutillier hockey tournament to the Barwood Arena in White River Junction. In the consolation game, the Northfield Marauders jump to a 2-0 lead, but in the second period, Nate Lemieux gets the Hurricanes on the board with this low-risk shot. Just over a minute later, teammate Jordy Allard weaves his way through the defense and ties the game 2-2. But Northfield would score 2 more goals to defeat the host Hurricanes 4-2. Hartford is now 2-6 and will travel next to St. Johnsbury on Wednesday. The championship game pitted the Woodstock Wasps versus the Lebanon Raiders. Just over a minute into the game, Lebanon's Noah Gaudet sneaks the shot from the point in to give the Raiders a 1-0 lead. With under a minute to go in the first period after this turnover, TJ Barber feeds Brendan Kelly to put Lebanon up 2-0. but Woodstock would get on the board on this deflected shot by Connor McCarthy with just 12 seconds left in the period. The score remained 2-1 in the third period when Woodstock's William Galt scores a power play goal here to tie the game with 12 minutes left to go in the game. With just 2 minutes left in the contest, and Lebanon on a power play, Nate Dameron jumps on this rebound to give the Raiders a 3-2 lead. Woodstock had some great chances to tie the game, but Lebanon's Jason Drebber came up with some big stops, and the Lebanon Raiders went on to win the Philip Boutillier tournament game by a 3-2 score over the Woodstock Wasps. The Raiders will next take on Keene on Saturday.
Thanks, Matt. When we return, we'll join John O'Connor and Lisa Cannell for a segment on This Year in Review.
The YCN News continues in a moment.